Welcome, Internet Nomad. Today I'm sharing my game tale on SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake. The biggest surprise return of a childhood favorite of mine was the remake of Battle for Bikini Bottom. There was never an absence of a SpongeBob game, but none of the new ones stood a chance against the lightning in a bottle game. Battle for Bikini Bottom just hits us differently. It was a decent platformer and also centered around my childhood favorite TV show. Luckily, this was the SpongeBob game I got on GameCube. So after Rehydrated was announced, I waited and replayed my favorite game growing up. Then Purple Lamp announces a new SpongeBob game that is a spiritual successor to Battle for Bikini Bottom. I was hyped and saw people literally calling the Cosmic Shake the best SpongeBob game ever. I played it for myself near weeks after release. I loved the game, but I don't think it outshines Battle for Bikini Bottom. I'm not going to include a spoiler section because there isn't much to discuss. The main story information happens before the first level. SpongeBob gets magic bubble soap and makes too many wishes. This causes a cosmic rift to appear all over town. SpongeBob friends are stuck within these new worlds. Of course, Bikini Bottom had to look different since Battle for Bikini Bottom already did most of the famous locations from the show. Cosmic Shake adds a twist to each location. For an example, Jellyfish Fields has a western spin. Most levels are insert famous location and add a theme to it. One thing I hated about the game was the special moves. In Battle for Bikini Bottom, SpongeBob has 2 additional moves he learns usually after a boss fight. Cosmic Shake adds a new move almost every level, and previous levels have sections where you're expected to come back with the proper move. This kills the pacing and makes players replay every level after beating the game. Obviously, these side missions are optional, but the reward is a golden doubloon, which unlocks costumes. If you don't know, I love unlockable costumes. This is probably my favorite type of unlockable in a game. It doesn't change anything about the game. The story is pretty similar to Battle for Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob thinks he's helping the one who caused the mess, but it's really obvious to everyone she's the villain. Some of the boss fights were epic. This game included way more fights than Battle for Bikini Bottom. Each one felt unique and required different moves, which you learned in the level leading up to them. I wonder if I didn't have nostalgia for the classic SpongeBob game, would I rate Cosmic Shake higher than it? Technically, Cosmic Shake is the better game. However, I loved the first game because it was based on locations from the TV show. This is the problem with modern SpongeBob games. I like the idea of changing the themes of each level, but it also loses some of the familiarity of the source material. Some places are deep cuts too. It didn't feel like the SpongeBob universe. It felt like they took places from the show and created alternate takes of what it could be. This strays away from the feeling of cohesionness that Battle had. If you didn't tell me the first level is Jellyfish Fields, I probably wouldn't know. The western theme is pushed so much it wasn't clear if this was Jellyfish Fields. There's a late level, which I won't spoil because it's close to the end. It wasn't included in Battle, and the theme kinda hampered this location. As a game, this is one of the best SpongeBob games ever made. The controls feel nice, it has a great foundation to build upon. The biggest obstacle of this game was how do we make it different from Battle for Bikini Bottom? A struggle which becomes clear as they experiment with both gameplay and settings. While as an adult, I found this game to be pretty good. I wonder how children who pick up this game feel. The moveset is quite diverse, and I even had trouble remembering inputs. But there's something pretty awesome about old games. I actually like the pretty difficult section that blocks off players. I have so many memories of not being able to beat a boss or a level. Then I grew up, replayed the game, and saw what else the game has to offer. One boss really roadblocked me for a couple days. Once I finally beat it, I knew the sensation a kid would have after toppling a hard boss fight. This game is also very mission based. This isn't like Battle for Bikini Bottom where spatulas unlock progression. Instead, the player has to beat the level's objective. This sucks for a few reasons. 1, you can't skip hard sections, and 2, there really isn't a feeling of progression. You never know how far you came from the start. The story wraps up and the game just ends after the final boss. I do love the ending because it adds a joke to why you could replay levels after saving the day. I think that inclusion is great because it's given a canon reason why you could replay levels. The costumes were pretty awesome callbacks to the show. If you grew up on SpongeBob, you definitely know where these costumes come from. There's a lot of early season costumes. I wonder if they knew their audience would include a bunch of grown men playing this children's game. It feels like they knew the game would be played by adults because the jokes call back to very early seasons. Also, the game is pretty complicated for a children's game. I love this direction for the series. There's a new game called Titans of the Tide. I will discuss that game once I beat it. I'm going to try and beat that game right after publishing this video. SpongeBob has been resurrected, and it seems like we will continue to get some pretty rad games. I'll also have to play Patrick's spinoff too eventually. Those were my loose thoughts on SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake. Farewell, Internet Nomad.